The Phantom Stranger number 14, written by J.M. De Mateus, art by Fernando Blanco. This is the next part of Forever Evil Blight. Which part, you may ask? I don't know, but this is definitely a part of it. So, last time, Phantom Stranger, Question, and Pandora all got brought to the Rock of Eternity by Constantine, Nightmare Nurse, and Swamp Thing. And we just pick up right there where everyone's having a little bit of a stand down, and then immediately the Trinity of Sin is just like, Constantine, what in the hell are you think you're doing, man? Why are you shackling us? And he's like, look, I need to talk to you guys, and frankly, I didn't think you'd listen if I just talked to you, so I'm gonna force you to listen. And as he's kind of taunting them a little bit, Pandora just immediately phases out of her chains. Question does his weird little smoke thing to get out of his. And then Phantom Stranger just breaks his in half. And Constantine's like, oh, right, you guys are immortal and know a whole lot of more magic than I do. Whoops. So at that point, whole fight scene breaks out. We've got Nightmare Nurse versus Pandora, Swamp Thing versus The Question, and Phantom Stranger versus Constantine. But it only lasts a second before Phantom Stranger gets so pissed off that he channels the voice of God to just stop everybody. And he's like, all right, enough of the lies, enough of the manipulation. What do you want, man? And he's like, okay, well, yeah, I have this plan where we went down into the depths of the collective human unconsciousness and we wanted to kill evil. And the whole thing is that because the crime syndicate, because Forever Evil's going on, it's making people more evil, just their presence being here. So we need to go and take care of this blight on humanity and kill this like deeper sin inside of everyone. And immediately the Trinity's like, okay, and why do you need us? And it's like, well, we don't have enough magic power to do it, and you guys have magic powers, and you also know a lot about evil. And immediately questions like, excuse me, I don't have magic, and also I'm not like them at all, I'm out. And he just bails, he just leaves. And Swamp Thing's like, Constantine, didn't you say this needed all three of them? What are we gonna do, man? He's like, it's fine, Swamp Thing, just shut up. Pandora, are you in? And Pandora's like, yeah, I'm in. And then turns to Phantom Stranger, and he's like, well, Stranger, it doesn't matter whether or not you want to be in, because I've got your magic little silver coin thing that's around your neck, and as long as I've got this, you're going to do what I say, right? And Phantom Stranger just knocks the coin out of his hand, punches him in the face, and says, screw you, man, I'm out. And he starts walking away, but he is in the House of Mystery, and it's not that easy to get out of the house. So as he starts making his way through, the house shows him a bunch of different things until it eventually, leads him to a recreation of the hill that Jesus Christ was crucified on. And he's like, oh God, my greatest shame. So then we cut over to New York, where, if you remember 2 issues ago, Terrence 13 and Christopher, the babysitter who got killed on Phantom Stranger's watch, they're looking out over everything happening because of Forever Evil, and they're like, oh my God, this sucks. There's just this evil in humanity that's causing all this rioting and looting. Like, we're beyond saving. And Terrence 13 is like, no, man, we always get through this stuff. It's superhero comics. Things always get bad and then they get better. We're going to be fine. And Christopher's like, I don't believe it. I don't think that for a minute. I think that this sucks, and maybe, you know what? I should have just died rather than being brought back. So as he goes into his bedroom and pouts for a while, we see that the voice of Blight starts talking to him. He can't actually hear it, but he gets the mood, he gets the vibe of Blight telling him yeah, man, everything sucks. It's like a Limp Bizkit song up in here. Why don't you just give into it, you know? And you, once you give in, can be my perfect vessel in the mortal realm. So we go back to Phantom Stranger, who's still being emo on that hill, and Pandora comes up and is like, hey, Stranger, you know you're still in the house, right? And he's like, yeah, I know I'm still in the house. He's like, you know the house is just showing you things that are inside your subconscious, right? And he's like, yeah, I get that now. I get it. And all of a sudden the house transforms again as Pandora basically says, here's the thing. maybe you are looking at this the wrong way. If you didn't betray Jesus, then the world wouldn't have Christianity. And that is a good thing that it has it, right? And then they don't really answer that question, but Pandora transforms the world around with a little bit of her magic and says, "You see that guy over there? This is a flashback to like some old ancient place 1500 years ago. It's like, you see that guy over there? He is with the woman he loves. He is been traveling the world. He's an immortal. I met him much later, and as he was grieving for this woman. And Stranger's like, oh, wait a minute, that's me." So then we cut to LA real quick, and we see Black Lightning and Blue Devil are basically trying to calm down the rioters. And all of a sudden, they're surrounded by a bunch of guys who they think are in like demon masks. And then they get the ever loving crap beat out of them. And they realize, oh, wait, these aren't demon masks. These are actual demons. And they take a Blue Devil, dump him into a hell portal, and then just leave Black Lightning behind. That's the whole thing. So at that point, Pandora's trying to get Phantom Stranger to remember this past life he had. And, you know, it was apparently like 500 AD. He had fallen in love. He had finally moved on. But then the woman died, and he got sad again. And he put that part behind him for whatever reason. And Phantom Stranger's like, no, this is more lies. This is more of John Constantine's lies, isn't it? And Pandora's like, swear to God it isn't, but, you know, whatever. So all of a sudden they teleport back into the room where Constantine and his gang is. And Phantom Stranger basically says, like, okay, here's the thing. I've been pushed around a lot in my life. I've been told I gotta be doing this, gotta be doing that. I ain't doing that no more. However, I will help you. Not because you pushed me into it, but because it's my choice. And he finally gets the silver coin that Constantine was using over him, and he hands it over to the Nightmare Nurse and says, hey, you saved my life like 6 issues ago. Here, take this as payment. And she's like, all right, cool. So and then we cut back to Christopher in his room. He's finally given in to all of his emo thoughts. He gets overtaken by darkness, literally the blight, and he says, yes, I use you and take material form. You will be my avatar. And he manages to call forward the sins that were let out of Pandora's box. And he's like, all of you will be are reflections of my own darkness. You will work for me now. And Terry 13 hears all the hubbub going on upstairs. He tries to go get involved, but gets knocked out by Blight. And then Blight just like punches out through the window of the penthouse, and in doing so, he somehow impacts the House of Mystery, because as the gang is like, all right, we're all together, what's the plan? The house just screams out in pain, rips apart, spits them out into the middle of, it seems like, Central Park, and yeah, things ain't going good. So that's whatever part of Forever Evil Blight this is. I liked it. I think it was fine. I think I don't know. I've liked this book because it takes the little moments to like pontificate and get all philosophical and whatnot, and being like, what is the measure of a man? But this time the whole thing with like, are you sure that you being Judas was so bad? Maybe it was a good thing you betrayed Christ. And like, I get it. I see the point they're making it, but like, it's a weird point because they never go all the way with it. They're like, yeah, no, it's a good thing we had Christianity. Crusades, am I right? So yeah, it's kind of a halfway mark. And then add on top of it, it's just a piece of this larger storyline going on. It's not a bad piece. It's a necessary one of the team gets together, but it does definitely feel a little bit stunted because of that. Add in the Blue Devil subplot thing going on. I don't know. It's a lot happening. Overall, I think this is probably just like 6.5. It's okay. It's not bad. It's just a piece of whatever is going on in this Blight event, and we'll see how it connects the next time this shows up, which I think may be Constantine. So, yeah.